1. And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Anti-Think Tank. My name is Ian. And today I am joined by my two hosts. Introduce yourself, boys.
You want to go first or you want me to?
I'll let you go first.
My name is Ryan. I got told to do this introduction because we didn't do it for episode 2, and Justin got a fucking piss baby about it. Real way. Real, I'm tired right now. It's 10 fucking a.m. I went to sleep at 5. Please shoot me.
Yeah, I am Justin. I am the pissy baby. Listen. I was trying to make sure the audience knew who we were.
Yes, no. I understand. Yeah, the episode 2 starts, and it's just like we just like get right into it. And anyone who's just listening to that for the first time is just these are 3 disembodied voices.
Yeah, we got names at the bottom of it. That's on the editor for not telling people.
The fuck you mean?
Yeah.
If it's audio only, how the fuck are they gonna know?
Well, skill issue, frankly, but
Justin, we expected you to dub in our voices, to go in and like be like, my name is Ryan and my name is Ian, and just like do it like that.
Use fucking ChatGPT.
I was expecting you to come up with some creative shit. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into my first topic. And my first topic, bit of a contentious one. Let's talk about everyone's favorite company, a company with no shady practices whatsoever, a beacon of health, Nintendo.
What they do now.
Boy.
All right, so do either of you gentlemen own the Nintendo Switch?
I do.
All right, have you experienced the problem known as Joy-Con drift?
Not yet, but I've heard of it.
More times than I can count. Granted, I have not been the one playing it. My grandmother. That was about to be a very strange conversation. My grandmother is the one that mostly plays on it, like Zelda and shit. And every, month or two, I have to get her a new controller because she somehow breaks the ones with Joy-Con drift.
Okay, so Justin, essentially what Joy-Con drift is the way that Nintendo makes the controllers. They're not like gluing down the little CPU like the chip or whatever that's right under the thumbstick. So essentially, once you have the Joy-Con, for most people it was 6 months. I remember I got my Switch around when it came out, and the problem was showing itself around 6-7 months after I got it. Essentially, your character will just start walking without you pressing the thumbstick, and that sounds like a minor deal, but it can ruin games. I mean, Breath of the Wild, you'll just be chilling, and then you'll run up a mountain. And essentially, for years, everyone I know who's had a Switch has been affected by this, and they have to buy new ones, and they are not cheap. They are to get 2 new Joy-Cons, it's around $60, $65?
Yeah, I think last time I checked it was
eventually we just got the fucking... Eventually we just started getting the Nintendo Pro, Nintendo Switch Pro controllers, and even then they're still pieces of shit.
Yeah, no, they're so light, they feel like they're McDonald's toys. But I still got one, but they're better than the Joy-Cons at least.
Yeah, still the same issue though. Anyway, continue.
It's incredibly frustrating because, for one, we now have recent news that's come out that obviously Nintendo knows about this. The Switch has been out for around 6 years, and this is not a minor problem. This is a game-breaking problem on one of the most popular consoles in the world, and Nintendo hasn't fixed it. And people have been speculating whether it's due to financial reasons, why wouldn't they want to fix it? So anyway, recently they have secured a patent for, it's a little bit vague, but the general idea is that they've secured a patent for a new type of Joy-Con that shouldn't have the drift. The Switch has been out for 6 years. It is way too little too late. I do not understand how they were just so comfortable sending us a defective product and just expecting us to continue repaying for it. And the implication that they wanted us to keep buying new controllers every 6 months, that is actually laughably evil. That's Saturday cartoon villain type evil.
Yeah, at that point a regulatory body needed to step in and no, fuck this shit, you can't get away with this planned obsolescence of 6 months, get the fuck out of here. Make a good product and then get back to us. But I think the bigger thing is, if they're patenting a new, controller, chances are it's for a newer console at this stage of the Switch's lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. With all the different rumors about, I mean, the rumors about the Switch 2 coming out either late this year or at least getting announced late this year, I totally get it. That's probably why they're doing the patent. They're not planning on fixing this one. They just, I mean, who's to say they won't have the same problems on the next one? I really can't stand it when big, like, multi-billion-dollar companies like this just continue shoveling shit at us and just expect us to take it. It just pisses me off. It's real corporate greed. So anyway, Justin, I'm really glad you weren't affected by that.
No, but the only problem I did have with my Joy-Cons was I can't remember which stick it is, either the right or the left, but it can no longer click. It can no longer click in. And I think I was playing a game that requires you to crouch, and I try to click in to crouch, and it just wouldn't do shit. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
No, that is also part of the problem. Mine stopped doing that after a while, and you need that to play Metroid Dread. So I had to get a Pro controller.
And fun fact, so I have 2 sets of Joy-Cons, and I have the Pro controller, and I never had a single problem out of the Pro controller, not a single one. But when it came to the Joy-Cons, the ones that stopped working are the most recent ones I bought. Like the 2 Joy-Cons that came with the system
because they're
still working.
They're getting shittier, dude. They're making them shittier as the years go by.
I mean, it goes back in the conversation of, companies don't make things like they used to. Like, a little off topic, but kind of the same. But, microwaves. Like, the life expectancy of them now is like 5 years. When if you buy a microwave, here's the thing. Growing up, we had a microwave that literally lasted about 40 years.
Yeah, I can personally say that I hate planned obsolescence so much. There's, like, it's such a tricky thing to get around to. Like, you can't say, oh, it just broke. Because on these products, like, the defects are built in seemingly for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, they want you to just buy the other fucking product, and if they give you a good product, they know you're just going to get the one sale. Because, like, if you're using a Nintendo Switch, for instance, like, going back to that, like, you need to use a Nintendo Switch Nintendo-made controller. Except for, like, the really shitty third-party ones that are going to have these issues anyway.
Like obviously, just real quick, a couple of generations ago, you would be way more likely to buy the new Xbox, the Xbox One, if your 360 just, like, had the red ring of death. It's like, oh, well, I may as well get the new one.
I mean, would you call that...
Apple built in, like...
What would you call that planned obsolescence?
I don't think that's... Yeah, planned obsolescence is more on the lines of, like, whenever Apple decided to start, like, updating iPhones to make the battery life and such just worse, and make sure that people just slowly, like, hated the iPhone that they had, so they'd buy the new one.
Until they slowly grow to hate that one over the course of a year and a half and buy the new one.
Yeah, like... It's literally planned from Apple, like... Shit like that should just outright be illegal.
Yeah, like, for that to be a normal business practice is kind of, like... That's just strange to me. That should feel illegal.
It's, at the very least, predatory. It's almost, like, Monopoly tier bullshit. And I mean that in both ways, like, the caricature of Monopoly in the board game, where it's, like... one guy buying up everything, twirling his fucking mustache, and like the real life examples of the Rockefellers doing some bullshit in the market and making sure that nobody else can do anything but them.
Dude, for real, like we're living. It's ridiculous right now, man. Steve Jobs, man, he came back from the dead just for a couple more doubloons. It's sad, but
it's gonna turn into the like his head's frozen like Walt Disney's, and he's just like puppeting some guy.
He just becomes the new Siri. Like, his voice becomes the new Siri. Like, in every single response is like, hey, you want to check out that new iPhone?
Can you imagine?
iPhone is really... Oh, go on.
The mask slips every once in a while. It's regular Siri voice, and then, like, at random, like, one word will just be in Steve Jobs' voice.
Could you imagine
It'll be like, how can I help you today? I'm dead! How can I help you today?
Could you imagine if Steve Jobs' head got put in a fucking jar and like they use his head for presentations from now on?
Dude, I can literally see someone carrying the head out. Welcome, esteemed people.
Like they carry him under his arm and shit like that.
Oh man, poor Steve. No, not poor Steve.
Yeah, fuck Steve.
I'm tired of Steve. Almost as tired of Steve as I am of Skooloo Badulu. Can't stand that dude either. I wasn't a fan of him either. I told you can't mention him in here, and that's still, I'm the one who mentioned it, so, never mind.
Shot yourself in the foot.
You know what that means, Ian? You broke the rules. Time to go to the Spanky Boy corner.
No! No! No!
Here we go, motherfucker!
Ryan!
Come on!
Ryan, get out! Get out! Ah!
Naughty, naughty boy!
Leave my ass alone! Ah!
Shouldn't have brought up the fucking he who shall not be named.
Okay.
I'll be back if you fuck up again.
My ass is raw, and we are moving to the next topic. Let's go.
What the fuck just happened?
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to, this is a little bit of a lighter topic, you know, nothing too big. But I just want to say that I walked into Walmart the other day and I saw some Funyuns, spicy queso, you feel me? And I thought, that sounds absolutely delicious. And so I got suckered in by this terrible corporate I guess the like topic of today, all the topics are just corporate greed. I got suckered in by corporate greed. I bought the spicy queso Funyuns, and they were actual ass. I'm talking like crusty ass in the New Mexico desert, dude. It was so bad, and it didn't even like live up to what it said. Like, the flavor was so bland, and that made me remember almost every single time, like specifically from like Lay's has all these wacky flavors, and almost every time I get it, I end up being so underwhelmed and disappointed that I paid almost $6 for this bag that barely tastes like anything, barely tastes like the flavor that they told me it would. And I'm just wondering like, who is focus testing these these snacks that you end up underwhelmed by? Who is focus testing them? Like, cause no one ate that Funyun and said, "Damn, dude, this shit's slapping."
Middle-aged white moms that can't take any fucking spice, dude. Like, there's a reason why the only ones that actually taste like they're advertised are the salt ones, sour cream and onion, and, like, the barbecue flavors. Like, outside of that, like... And I'm guilty of this, too. I'm a pasty motherfucker. Like, we just can't take anything more than that. It's just over.
Like, white moms go to Louisiana, and they try one, like, gumbo, and they're just... and they just, like, go into an actual epileptic fit. They can't handle the fact that there's more than just salt and pepper in it.
What's so funny to me, though, is the idea of these taste testers to verify if these flavors are good or not. I mean, in all honesty, taste is very subjective.
Okay.
And so, whenever, like, one person says the chip tastes good, you know, if they're going off of one person's opinion, that doesn't count for 1 out of 10 people. So, yeah, one person may say good, while the other 9 say it's shit. But I hate to think that they're taste testing these specific flavor of Funyuns, and they only had one person tasting it, and they're like, "Oh yes, this shit's good. Send it out right now. It's great. Don't worry about it."
Oh, we're finding them. No, we're hunting their ass down. Like, I specifically I blame you. What's his name? Ryan, could you look up his name? The man who said those Funyuns were good in the focus test.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Fucking Skooloo.
For the final time. Bro, okay, listen. Alright, listen, Skooloo Badulu. Next time I get a bag of Funyuns, it's going to be the original flavor, alright? The best snack on the market. Objectively, the best chip, the best bagged snack on the market is original Funyuns, and I don't want to hear anything to the contrary.
Not even Flamin' Hot Funyuns?
Okay. You have a good point.
There you go.
Okay. Alright, that's fair.
This is acceptable. You get to live another day.
You get to live one more day, Justin, for mentioning this delicious snack in my presence. But anyway, I, personally, you know, not one I wanted to harp on too much. It really pissed me off. I was like, bro, I paid $6 for this bag. This is bland as hell. I don't want to do this again. So from now on, I will be getting all of my food through IV drip only. Moving on. All right, boys, we are moving on to Once again, this isn't a huge one, but the Rolling Stones, one of the most iconic rock bands of all time, one of my personal favorites, a really formative band, recently released a song called Angry about a week ago. And it got me really thinking about when you are an artist, someone who like makes their living based off of creating your art, be that, books or music, video games, comic books, anything that is your deal. Does there come a certain point in which it is more respectful for you to bow out with grace, especially if you already had a good final album? Because sometimes, like, coming out later on and doing another thing, it can really just tarnish a great legacy that you already had. Because the new song, like, it's not bad, but it's got no soul in it. It's very, very polished and poppy. It has none of their original, like, bluesy grit, and I'm wondering, like, whether they made it for fun or whether they just made it out of contractual obligation. And, yeah.
I mean, in so
Like that one guy, Dorde Martinovic, who worsened Serbian lives for years, and should have just taken the L instead of making a fucking huge... You know what? We'll do this in real time. Pull up the Serbian bottle incident.
Okay.
And just read through, and I want to hear your reactions to this shit in real time.
Serbian bottle incident.
Yeah.
The Dorde Martinovic accident? That's the only thing that came up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read it out loud.
All right, the incident. On May 1st, 1985, Dorde Martinovic, a 56-year-old resident of the Kosovo town of Redacted, arrived at the local hospital with a broken bottle wedged in... with a broken bottle wedged in his rectum. He claimed that he had been attacked by two Albanian men while he was working in his field. After being interrogated by Yugoslav's People's Army colonel, Martinovic reportedly admitted that his injuries had been self-inflicted in a botched attempt at masturbation.
hold up, what does this got to do with music?
What does this have to do with the Rolling Stones, Ryan?
Because you said they should have just taken the opportunity to exit and not done anything, and bowed out with grace. And this dude claimed that two Albanian men shoved a bottle up his ass and caused a genocide that's still ongoing today.
All right, let me.
I feel like it's at least a little bit tangentially related.
Let me.
Wait, can we? Go on, Justin. Go on.
Let me just add, okay, so when it comes to artists retiring or not, there we go. That's the topic at hand, Ryan. So it depends on, I don't know. It depends on how talented the artist is, because there's some bands that have reached their peak, and they have to retire. Like, in my honest opinion, I feel like Green Day should retire.
Oh, I mean, for real, man. They are not. They're not with it, dude. I mean, Billy Joe. He's.
Like,
I'm
don't get me
struggling to
wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love the band. I've loved them since high school. I loved every album that came out except for Father of All Motherfuckers. You want to talk about an album that was trying to meet contract? They made it for the record label. Like, that was it. And it's fucking terrible.
That's what I hate. Because when people people like me who like to listen to a band from beginning to end, they're gonna start off with smoothed out slappy hours, all right? They're gonna start out with a pretty good album, and they're gonna move through some of the greatest punk albums, greatest pop albums of the last 40 years, and then they're gonna get to that. If that is their final album, that is dying on a whimper. That's like the equivalent of having a terrible series finale. Like, that's just awful. I hate that.
In my honest opinion, if they retired off of Revolution Radio, I think that would have been a great retirement album.
Hell, I wouldn't have even hated that. I kind of like Revolution Radio.
Exactly. That would have been a good bookend. But real quick, when it comes to bands that I feel like aren't done yet, like, for instance, my favorite band, The Descendants. Dude. They've been around since the 70s or the early 80s. And they never really reached their full potential. Like, they had one really good single that made mainstream, and that was I'm the One. but they're in their 60s, and their last album, or second to last album that came out, was Hypercaffeinated Spazonite, which I think is probably one of their best albums ever.
I personally disagree. I don't personally love it, but I do agree that when I finished it, I was like, yeah, like I can really see this as being a good ending to a great multi-decade long career.
Yeah, so like it just depends on who the artist is.
Not just that, but like I see like 3 arguments for like it's time to retire. If you're not making any money anymore, like retire and just live out your fucking life. Like that's first and foremost. The music industry is about making money. It's not about art. It's about how much fucking money you can put in your bank account and then move on. Then artistically, if you're just tired of it and you don't want to do anything else, like it might be time just to hang it up and then enjoy life. But like the final one is a bit strange because like, I've seen so many artists throughout the years like just. You think that they're done, and then they come out with, like, one extra thing.
Yeah.
That just, like, brings you back in. Like, Sting was like that for me. Like, I liked his earlier music. I kind of, like, didn't pay attention to him at all. And then I was watching a show, and one of his singles came on, a song called What Could Have Been. And I think that's one of my most listened to songs.
Yeah.
So, like, even in the instance that there's an artist that you're like, oh, he's washed up or whatever the hell. Like, they could just hit it big again with a single or something. So I don't think anybody should ever like be forced to retire or anything like that. Or
I agree. I wasn't I wasn't trying to throw too much shade on the Rolling Stones. I felt a lack of. I personally felt a lack of passion with the song. It felt like, not that it was exactly created for modern audiences, but like mainstream modern like listeners can't really handle like rock with any kind of like hard rock leanings in it. So they had to make it really, really simple and poppy to like get on the charts, and I kind of hate that. It really annoys me. Also, I just realized, are you really telling me that like that incident you told me about that actually started like a huge conflict?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, the ongoing Kosovo conflict.
Okay, so
Serbia and them are still having like a civil war over the bottle incident. Yeah.
Okay, wait. So we're talking about like inciting incidents, like the first thing that happens that starts a conflict. Like I'm actually like thinking about some of them. So imagine them in heaven, like Archduke Ferdinand's like, yeah, I got shot and it started World War I. And this guy's like, yeah, I tried to decimate my prostate with a bottle of schnapps. Like
yeah, and it led to the dissolution of his nation and the balkanization. It led to the Yugoslav war, basically, which was before the Ukrainian conflict, the last armed conflict on European soil. So,
wow.
How many people died in that war? Let me see. So this, yeah, the Yugoslav war started in 1990 and ended in 2001, with 140,000 people dying.
You're telling me 140,000 people died because this man like tried to finagle his G-spot?
I mean, looking at Wikipedia, it had been growing for a while, but this is like, for lack of a better term, the climax of the fucking build-up.
Bro, stop. I do like how this started with Rolling Stones and somehow continuously made its way back to the bottle incident. It was too interesting not to.
I'm sorry for derailing.
No, like it was a good derail.
That was the hardest derailing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like the conversation had just started.
I just sat down. Oh man, good stuff. All right, boys, moving on to the next one. I went with a different kind of direction than Ryan did. I have like a bunch of kind of like mini topics that I'm moving through a little bit faster.
All right.
So
let's hear them.
All right, this one just says Spider-Man 2 coming out soon, and I think I wrote that because I forgot to mention it last week when Ryan asked me what my most excited video game was. Spider-Man 2018 is one of the best controlling games I've ever played. Did either of you guys play it?
I have.
Yeah, I got it on the PlayStation Plus Pass, and I gotta say, I do agree with you. I did not put that thing down for like 5 days straight.
There is nothing like and as someone who like as a kid played a lot of Spider-Man games on like the PS1 and PS2, the web slinging was fun, but very primitive. But with this game, it felt unreal. The feeling of swinging through the city was the best feeling in the world. It was great.
To use the catchy phrase, it made you feel like Spider-Man.
Made me feel like Spider-Man the Menace. It was great. I was a huge fan. Can't wait for the second one. I doubt you guys play. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on, Justin.
I'm about to say, speaking of which, with Spider-Man, like, the controls in that game were so great. The storyline was so great. Like, it's the first game I've ever 100% completed, and actually feel like I want to do it.
Wow. I never 100%ed it. I couldn't. There was so much stuff in there.
I mean, I did all
I did the main quest, a couple of side quests, and then fucked off.
Like,
I'll be real.
Because like I beat the whole game, and then like there's all this other shit you can do, and all these side quests, and I'm like, well, I'm not done playing the game yet. Like the game feels so good to play, so I just continue to do the rest of the side quests and shit.
No, dude. Like I'm like glad for you. I hate that me and Ryan like probably missed out on some of the best stuff in the game.
I'm not. I had my fun. I moved on.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I'm definitely not.
I installed Miles Morales and was fucking disappointed by that piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty.
Still fun.
It was pretty short.
Still fun. It's just short. Like,
it's basically DLC.
Yeah, it's $50 standalone DLC is all it is. There's a reason why they're calling this one Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like
I can't wait though.
It's kind of like when Halo made Halo 3 ODST, charged a whole $50 for it.
Personally, I only recently started playing the Halo franchise. I'm in the middle of 2, so I wouldn't know.
Alright, no spoilers for the man. If any of you spoil fucking Halo for him and go into plot details, I'll brick your kneecaps.
I'll go with this.
Considering that Halo fans are the most like egregious fans in the world, I'll be like, yeah, I'm on 2, and they'll be like, you're literally on 2. It's been out for 20 years. What are you doing? It's like I just want to have fun.
I just now got into it.
I'll tell you this.
Leave me
You
alone.
finish this fight, motherfucker. You get in there now.
I'll tell you this right now. People will try
to
to
play.
people will try to soil your enjoyment when it comes to Halo 3 ODST because realistically that should have been a DLC, but it was a standalone game. But honestly, it was pretty fucking good on its own. I'm not gonna lie.
I think people are starting to turn around to it. It should have been different than what it was because they made like the main character an ODST and then kind of had him with like more similar to Master Chief and Spartans than the sort of stealth shooter that it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But still really fun game.
Oh, absolutely. And the soundtrack is so good.
Just know that after you go like Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, and then Reach, everything past Reach is such a quality dip.
Oh my god,
It's
it is.
It feels terrible.
Okay, yeah, that's what I understand about the franchise, because I essentially got the Master Chief collection as like a promise to my friend Connor. Like, it's like we'll both play like each other's favorite video game franchise. So mine is like Donkey Kong Country, so he had to play the trilogy, and his was Halo. So which wasn't exactly a fair like switch because
That's
you
really
can play
not.
all three You can play all 3 Donkey Kong Country games in like a day, whereas I have been on Halo 2 for a hot minute.
Yeah.
So you say you started the
And
Halo
you don't even get to
franchise. Did
really
you start
fully
off-
experience it, because... Go on.
Oh, so you say you started off with the Halo franchise. Did you start off on Reach first, or start off with CE first?
No, I essentially, I think Combat Evolved. I think I finished the first game, and then I just started playing the second one. And essentially, Connor said that the first 3 are great. Then, like you guys said, there's a couple of spin-offs. And is 4 supposed to be good, or is that where it starts dipping?
That's where it starts dipping.
Compared to 5, it's good.
Oh yeah, good.
Compared
Absolutely.
to 5, it's good, but...
Okay.
I haven't played Halo Infinite, so I can't speak on it. I've heard from my friend Chance, who's a Halo fanboy, that the campaign to Infinite's decent to good, but yeah, I just couldn't get into it after playing through Halo 4 and then didn't even boot up Halo 5. So.
Oh, okay. So, well, that being said, is there a stopping point in the story where I'll feel like I got a complete like experience and don't need more story?
For the original trilogy, it's Halo 3.
Okay.
But-
that one, I think.
Okay.
I will go and say this though. Halo Reach. The reason why I asked is because Halo Reach is a prequel to the first game,
I'll probably play that one after 3 if I still want some Halo.
and I would argue right now that Halo Reach is probably the best Halo game.
Whoa, really?
I didn't like. Uh, I'll go against that and say that 3's better in my opinion, but I'm also really against any sort of enhanced mobility. At least in like arcade shooters similar to Halo, and Halo Reach is the one that put up like jetpacks, sprinting, shit like that.
I liked
So,
that though. Like I
it
was
just really
totally cool with it.
Halo's core gameplay design is so based around like this slow moving shooter that having like this enhanced mobility meant that they had to rebalance so many things and just completely ruin a lot of the parts of it. Like it's still good for Reach, but it kind of opened the gateway for the issues that I had with like Halo 4, Halo 5, where they play much more similarly to like Titanfall and other shooters like that, where it's just all about going around the map while running and doing like off the wall bullshit.
Which obviously I need to play the game before I see if I like it or not. But yeah, definitely in Halo, I definitely prefer the more like strategic combat like style that it has.
Well, Halo Reach still has it, except for it has armor abilities, which gives you advantages. But like, there is a sprint in Halo Reach, but again, it's an armor ability. It's not something baked into the game, unlike 4 and 5.
My main issue with them is that instead of it being like with Halo 2 and 3 on like the multiplayer, I don't know if you played any multiplayer, Ian, have you?
As far as multiplayer Halo, the only the stuff I've done is over at Justin's house one time.
Yeah, right. So like Halo, the biggest part about that franchise like is the multiplayer. So like to get a fair assessment of the games, you should probably give like a couple of rounds of it just to compare between them and see which one's your favorite.
Yeah.
But like one of the big parts of it is that in the original 3 runs, you had like certain parts of the map where like a gun or an ability or something would spawn in there, and then everybody would like run there to fight for it to try and get it, and then get like this slight advantage over it. And everybody had like a default that you get an assault rifle or like a battle rifle, and then your handgun, and you fucking go in. When you added these like armor abilities and these different classes and such to the game, it kind of removed that aspect of like the arena battle shooter, and it just became a lot more almost similar to like Call of Duty, where you just pick a loadout, spawn in, and just keep going, which is fine. If you're into that, that's fine. It just doesn't seem to have a home on this specific franchise, because the moment they implemented it, a lot of the core fans of Halo were very dissatisfied just due to the fact that like this franchise over here, Call of Duty, like if I wanted a similar style to this, I'd just go play it.
Well, I don't.
I'm
I don't.
in this franchise because of this.
Well, I'll say this: when it comes to the whole armor abilities and loadouts, like again, when it comes to Halo, it should have been peaked at Reach, because again, with 4 and 5, they kind of took it over and made it worse. But with 4 and 5, with Reach, it's not like you can pick. It's not like you can customize your own loadout. Like, depending on what game type you play, depends on what loadout you'll choose. Like on a traditional Slayer game for Halo Reach, all your loadouts are just assault rifle and pistol, but each loadout is a different armor ability. That's it. But with the custom loadouts, though, it made party games so much more fun, because like depending on what the party game was, the loadout actually depended, and it's not competitive multiplayer. It's just for fun.
I can see both sides of like where you guys are getting at. Like personally, I think that custom loadouts is just the way to go for multiplayer. However, I'm also someone who has played significantly more COD than I have Halo. I do agree with Ryan that both franchises have kind of like stolen from each other, like either lightly or heavily at certain points over the years. I think that Halo's way of like their unique way, I don't know why they would kind of change it to be more like Call of Duty. Didn't Call of Duty like basically release a Halo type game like a couple of years ago, and it was completely like maligned. People hated it. It was like a Call of Duty like Infinite Warfare or something.
Okay, real quick. Okay.
The Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, one of the two.
It's Infinite Warfare. Let me go on this real quick. I have played Infinite Warfare. I played the multiplayer for it. I don't understand the hate for it.
Really?
Out of all the Call of Duties that came out, Infinite Warfare was honestly the best one. When they made World War II, that was just to please the people that are pissed off at the futuristic aspect of Infinite Warfare. and World War II fucking failed. Like, it was terrible. Infinite Warfare, it tried to be more like Halo, not in the campaign sense and not in mostly in the multiplayer sense, because in the multiplayer they had a lot more game modes, like Infection. They had a few modes that I can't remember right now that were kind of based off Halo. But
Yeah.
honestly, when it came to the whole campaign of Infinite Warfare, the story was pretty good in my opinion. The gameplay was really great. So I don't understand the hate behind it. Like, I went into it thinking, oh my god, this is going to be terrible because I saw the trailer and I saw everybody's reaction to it. But I played it for myself and I was like, this does not deserve anywhere near the amount of hate that it gets.
Well, like I said, I mean, I personally haven't played it, but I do think that like it does have to be admitted that the reason why they made that was to compete with Halo in a sense.
Yeah, like the last Call of Duty that I played was Black Ops 2.
Best game in the world. Such a great game.
When it comes to Infinite Warfare, I think a lot of the anger at the time was that like they were releasing a Call of Duty every single year, and they were just getting more and more futuristic. They didn't really vary the approach at all. They just kept like releasing pretty much the same product over and over and over again. And then Battlefield came out with the Battlefield 1 trailer where it's going back to like World War 1, which is a completely different setting. Everybody was excited about that, with like a ton of different gameplay upgrades and stuff. So it was more of like a complaint about comparing the two franchises. And a lot of Call of Duty fans, I don't even think were involved in like the hating of the game. It was more like Battlefield fans jumping over to shit talk it and then go back.
I don't know, because whenever the game was released, I'll go on Twitch, and all of the big Call of Duty streamers were playing Infinite Warfare, and they're all saying, oh, this is terrible, this is fucking bullshit, this is god-awful.
I don't know. Frankly, I don't follow the Twitch scene for Call of Duty. So, like, I don't pay attention to Twitch streamers' opinions anyway. Like, if you throw, like, anybody who is, like, a League streamer, like, my main game, I know this is going to discredit me, like, the main game that I play is League of Legends, and if you listen to any of the fucking streamers on there, and their ideas for what would make the game good, it's so, like, just tailored to them that it's just, like, just shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah, I personally I don't watch much Twitch, but I definitely get what you mean.
if you want actual criticism of a game and see, like, what the player base actually wants from it, just go on to, like any YouTube comment section about the game or some shit, and you'll get a general feeling of it, and then just keep looking around, and you'll eventually get to, like, hey, here's a good idea of what people want, and then the developers go down that route, and it turns out that no, people actually didn't want that. The people that were happy with it just weren't talking.
Yeah. No, like imagine like after this episode comes out, it finally like blows up, and then the developers for COD just like make Infinite Warfare remastered.
I'd buy it.
Dude, our heads would end up on pikes, and I just want to say it's Justin's fucking fault.
Local
Don't go for me.
Local morons in the anti-think tank praise objectively bad game. Local man Justin being paraded through the streets like, and I quote, a parade float. You done messed
But
up.
no,
You praised a bad game.
that's
I'm
my
sorry.
opinion, though. I stand by it. I think Infinite Warfare is not as bad as people say it is. I really enjoy it.
take the opinion. Take the opinion back before we upload this episode.
How about this? I'll agree on one thing to everybody on the Call of Duty scene agrees with me. Vanguard was terrible.
No. You will agree with all of it. You will agree with all of it.
All right, anyway, next topic.
Oh, no, you're not getting out of it this time. You're not getting out of it this time, good sir. Redact the statement.
I'll do it in...
Oh, what's that? What's that?
What the fuck are you doing?
What is that? What is that? Oh, it sounds like a lynch mob outside my door trying to kill me for being affiliated with a man with ass opinions. Terrible opinions. And now, well, I'm not letting you in. Okay, they're in. I gotta go.
Ich bin ein Kaiser Susandan! Get him! Smack his penis!
All right, next
It
next
scares
topic
me that you
today
guys are
we
my
have.
friends.
It scares you that
It
what?
scares me that you guys are my friends.
You lost the draw.
Look, dude.
You lost
You're the one
the
who
betting
scheduled a recording session for 11 a.m.
What's so funny is you guys are talking about how early it is and how early that is. You understand that for 80% of America, that's midday for them.
No.
Yeah.
No, we're like outing ourselves as like degenerates right now. Like we're like, yeah, I had to wake up at 11. It was terrible.
Yeah, I don't care. Like I could not get to sleep until 5 fucking a.m. We usually record at like somewhere between 6 and 10 at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm now having to sit in the middle of what degree is it? 85 degrees with no air conditioner on and midday in Alabama. I'm not complaining about it being early. I'm complaining about the fucking heat stroke.
Bro, the creator of Chainsaw Man made a manga called Fire Punch, and I won't go into spoilers, but it has to do with like the heat death of the universe and the sun just killing us all. And I was reading it today. I'm close to the end of it, and I'm like, damn, wow, like this completely fictional story is kind of just predicting what's happening to the world right now. It should not be this hot. It's too hot, boys.
Yeah, the ocean is evaporating and making super hurricanes, and maybe one of them will hit near me and lower the fucking temperature. If Miami has to go, it has to go, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice for my own convenience.
For your own convenience. If you're listening in Miami, you're expendable as far as Ryan is concerned.
They can take New Orleans too, but that might still be a little bit fucking hitting too close to home after Katrina.
Let's not get too deep into hurricane talk. All right, let's just move to See, now I want to talk about hurricanes. Shit.
No. Next topic.
Okay. Next one I got.
Justin really trying to stop us from getting canceled before I start saying people are like Venice.
It's a full-time job for Justin at this point.
It's like
Justin is a professional.
You have to understand when it comes to having this podcast with you guys, there's days where my methods of trying to keep everyone from getting canceled and to keep everyone from being in trouble with what they say is kind of like giving a kid Play-Doh and telling him to be careful for a little bit.
Giving a kid Play-Doh and telling him, I know it's salty, but don't eat it.
Eat it.
I know. Wait, okay, no. If they don't want us to eat it, why did they give me the McDonald's pack and gave me the tools I needed to make fries? They gave me yellow Play-Doh and they gave me a little McDonald's fry cup and they told me to make fries. And then they told me don't eat it and I'm like, bro, it comes pre-salted. What do you expect me to do? I'm 5!
It sounds like he got some past trauma with it.
I see that he has some passion around being able to eat Play-Doh.
Bro, no, I'm tired of people telling me what I can and can't do.
At least he fights for what he stands for.
Become ungovernable.
You got people out there fighting for civil rights. You got people out there fighting for truly what they believe in. I'm out here, vote me in office. I'll make sure your kids have all the Play-Doh they can eat.
Some poor woman in Iran getting beheaded because a strand of hair came out of her hijab, and we're over here why the fuck do they not let me eat my Play-Doh?
I want to put it in a blender and slurp it like a smoothie!
This is the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Won't let me. Bro, Justin, at this point, accept the fact that your job is half editor, half mental health analyst.
It kind of is.
Look, dude. It could have been worse. You could have scheduled this shit on 9/11.
That's a big bullet we dodged. That's a big bullet we dodged because I know the shit you guys would fucking say about it.
Or would
That's
you?
a bullet that New York didn't.
What?
Bro, no. Bro. All right. I'm just gonna edit out what Ryan said. All right, moving on.
No, don't.
Fine, keep in what Ryan said. Moving on, boys. Moving on, boys. Justin, I'm so sorry. But this is a smaller topic, not something super big, but something that no one had any faith in, including myself, the live action One Piece adaptation did extremely well, better than any live action anime adaptation in the history of man. The reviews were actually great, and it has led the discussion open as far as, whether these are actually viable things, whether these can happen, because essentially almost every single other live action anime has floundered in large part because the source material is in its original form for a reason. If something was created as a comic book, then it will be enjoyed best in its comic book form. If something is enjoyed best in an animated form, you can do stuff with that you can't do with something else. So when you make a live action One Piece, it's just going to look less like easy to believe than it would with the comic book or with the animated, well, obviously with the animated series. But yeah, a lot of people are saying it worked and that they really appreciated what they did. And a lot of people are saying that the reason why it worked is because they didn't have the actors try to pretend like they were like doing anime things. Because obviously anime characters do have like tons of wacky facial expressions, sounds, noises, and in live action anime adaptations, a lot of times they'll tell the actors, yeah, just do that. You know, what could go wrong? It won't look weird or cringy at all. And for this one, apparently they didn't do that, and they had them act a little bit more grounded and realistic. So, anyway, good for live-action One Piece.
I mean, the other argument is that the original creator of One Piece, like, stood outside the director's house with, like, a rabid pit bull and a shotgun, and basically just forced him to stick to the source material, or he'd just let go of the leash.
It's like, no, like, since they were making it for Netflix, I can just imagine the adapters who were creating it were like, okay, Mr. Oda, are you fine if we make, since this is for Netflix, are you fine if we make half of the characters trans and half gay? Are you okay with this?
Alright, if we just make Nami a raging lesbian, would you be fine with this? And Oda, like, looks down at the shotgun, looks back up at them and like, I'm torn right now.
No, and
you
like,
understand my material better than I.
I knew it in my heart, but didn't have the heart to write it. But no, like
I knew it in my pants that I wanted to see Nami. Just
bro, stop. Nami is a character that is near and dear to many people's hearts, and apparently near and dear to other parts of you.
Look, I never watched One Piece, but I have seen some material.
All right, we're gonna move on. Before old Ryan mentions old Vaporeon again, we are going to.
Look, you brought that up.
I be catching mad L's today, dude. I mentioned Skooloo Badulu. I mentioned Vaporeon. I'm making all the wrong references.
Look, my grandmother finally watched this show, and like my D&D friends also watched like episode 1. So like I joined the D&D call. And one of my players said, so Vaporeon, huh? And then my grandmother watched the fucking highlight video that you guys put up. And that was a very awkward, like, 2 minutes. And then she just said, I'm proud of you. So, you know.
Well, that's good. You know, that's good. That's an interesting kind of proud.
I knew I was fighting for someone. I just didn't think it would be that close to home.
It's like,
Good lord.
oh my god. Also, real quick, just so I don't get chased after by any kind of mob. What I was saying earlier wasn't because I'm not like down with inclusion or anything like that, but it just has to be admitted that that's kind of just Netflix's like brand statement. Whenever they adapt anything or create anything, that is their go-to way to get it like out there, make several of the characters just different lifestyles, and there's, you know, nothing wrong with that, but at a certain point it does feel like they're just like virtue signaling and, you know, trying to score brownie points with, you know, people, and it's just a little annoying.
It also doesn't help when you have writers that make like the Cowboy Bebop adaptions say like have terrible lines like, here comes the ouch motherfuckers, from someone who is supposed to be like a intensely smart, like, charismatic female character who's like a femme fatale, and then you have her say that line, and I just want to turn it off.
Bro, no, I can't take anything in the live-action Bebop seriously, and I watched the whole thing. I should have stopped the second I saw the wig that they chose for Vicious, and they just didn't think, wow, this looks awful.
Yeah, the actor for Spike Spiegel and the black guy were both really good, but everybody else kind of floundered. The Ed scene right at the end of it made me want to kill a man.
See, no, that's what a lot of people were talking about. Freaking that scene is terrible because they got the actor to literally just act like Ed did in the show. And that doesn't work in live action. In the anime, it's funny, it's quirky, it's weird, it's cool. It just works. In live action, it's like, wow, this is a real human being trying to have noodle arms and like speak like this. Oh, Spike. It's terrible. It's awful.
And like, I'm not meaning to like blame any of the actors here, because when you get handed scripts where you have like the Ed scene and here comes the ouch motherfuckers, you as an actor are just like, you want to find the nearest bridge and like throw the writer off of it, because like, you can't do anything. You are going to get hate. You are going to get so much shit just because you need to feed your family, or some shit with like the LA rent prices, or something like, it's either homelessness or I have to say this line, and it's not fair.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I definitely, the less I think about the live-action Bebop, the better. And maybe this live-action adaptation can signal a better future for them if they decide to go forward with it. Also, you just, like, earlier was referring to the cast, and you said the black guy. Man's name is Mustafa Shakir, alright? You just completely...
Look, everybody knew who the fuck I was talking about.
Not everybody.
Everyone knew.
There is one black guy in Netflix Cowboy Bebop. One black guy.
What?
At least from the main cast.
Okay, I mean, you're not wrong. Who else could you have made? Everyone's just like, yeah, he's talking about Ed, yeah. Justin, just like, yeah, he's talking about Julie.
Vicious is a proud black woman.
Oh my god. All right, Netflix, you're doing good, bud. Go take a lap around the pool. Next, I will be moving on to a little bit of a topic that is very similar to something that I had before, but in less of a musical context. And it's just with all of these reboots and continuations that have been happening recently, I've always been of the opinion that it is more satisfying for something to end. And I feel like a lot of people would agree with that. And when you have a great ending to something, and then you come out later like, hey, here's an extra season of extra content, it's making it to where your story has 2 series finales, and then you have to like reconcile with, okay, well, I guess the original one wasn't really the series finale, even though I like it better than the actual one, and it's just really frustrating. And it happened recently. Did either of you guys watch the show Dexter?
I watched a few of the early seasons, and then my interest waned in it.
My father was a big fan of it back in the day. But like, I watched a few episodes, but I never like fully sat down and watched it.
I got you. Well, Dexter seasons 1 through 4 is like peak. It's amazing. Some of the best stuff I've ever seen. 5 is trash. 6 is like actual ass. 7 is trash and ass, and 8 is trashy ass. It's all bad. All right, it's really bad. So the finale of Dexter is awful, like absolutely terrible. And so years later, they decided to make another season last year, Dexter New Blood. And this finale was even worse. And it's like, what was the point? Like, you, instead of giving me 2 great finales, you gave me 2 bad ones. You had 9 years to write a better ending to this story, and you somehow bungled it again. And I don't understand how, I just don't understand how a writing mistake like that gets through the cracks.
I mean, it's even worse when you have like a fantastic ending, and then you get like that extra season that just ruins it. Like, I'm a huge fan of, like, have either of you watched the sitcom Scrubs?
A little bit, yeah, not a whole lot.
I would recommend sitting down and watching it. It is easily the best sitcom I've ever seen, which, you know, there's a lot of really shitty ones, but this is, like, actually really fucking good. And then the ending to, like, the original run of the series comes about, and it's such an amazing ending.
Yeah.
Like, it's a medical drama / sitcom, and you have, like, all the patients that have died throughout the series, and all the, like, everything comes back for that finale, and it's just such a huge emotional moment at the very end of the series. And then they release the next season, and it's just... To put it in perspective, the fan base of that show basically says there is no 9th season. We don't talk about season 9. It doesn't exist. It was supposed to be a shitty spinoff that just got attached to the main series. We ignore it and we move on.
It is corporate greed at its absolute, like, most crystallized worst form, and it pisses me off so bad. Like, look at the fans of Futurama. Futurama, I'm not fully caught up on it. I've seen a bunch of Futurama, but I've heard from what a lot of people have said that it has basically 2 series finales that are both excellent. It ended once, and then they revived it again a couple years ago, and then it went on for I think 2 or 3 more seasons and had another series finale. This time people loved it again. And now they've rebooted Futurama again, season like 14. It just came out on Hulu, and now they're gonna have another series finale. It's just like I would be so much more satisfied just having my memory of this complete, concise, ended story rather than having to like look on my news feed and see, hey, there's another, like, it's continuing. It's like, I don't give a shit. I already like have it in my mind as being a complete story.
And like, it's a really big issue in Western animation in general right now. Like, original properties are just not really sought after. You can look through a ton of animators who are looking for work and such, talking about how their series just aren't getting greenlit unless it's a reboot or like something like that, because people would much rather, or at least corporate heads think that people would much rather watch like a Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends reboot than they would like an original property.
It's so
Personally,
stupid.
I'm more after, like, we were talking last week about the ending of like Steven Universe and how disappointing that shit was, but I'd rather have, because the original run of Steven Universe was really good. They just fumbled at the end.
I would say they fumbled around
Then-
the midway point, but yeah.
I think the Cartoon Network fumbled around the midway point. The writing was still decent. It's just the fact that like when you have a scheduling that's like just a bomb format after a bomb format, like, it's just gonna be terrible. Because the filler episodes end up being like bomb finales and such, and it's just like they killed that series. Anyway,
Yeah, no,
but you have occasionally you do have good releases though for the reboots and such. Have either of you watched like Adventure Time?
I did. I watched the original series.
I'm currently a couple of seasons in.
You have like the Distant Land specials are an example of like the original run of Adventure Time. I think has a decent ending, not one of the best out there. Still good, just not one of the best. Then the Distant Lands miniseries comes out that gives like a definitive ending to some of the characters, and it is the best animated ending to anything Western or Eastern that I've ever seen.
Wow. Okay, so
And then they rebooted it again.
yeah, and but this time it's with 2
But
side
I will
characters.
say,
right?
I won't go too deep into it because it does spoil some aspects of the main series, but it is a very, very good reboot so far. Very interesting for young adult audiences instead of children, so like they aged up the demographic to go along with the people who would have watched it when they were kids and are now adults. So they, at least there's a reason for it, and it is very, very interesting. But like, I would rather have this interesting writing and such be around new characters and new stories instead of reviving the old ones to like just milk out a little bit more money.
Oh yeah, it's because essentially there's a term called snake hands, and the idea of it, I believe it's a Japanese term. The idea of it is in relation to storytelling, in that the more you add on to a story, the more chance you have to accidentally or intentionally dampen or ruin something people liked about it before. So, for a quick example, there's one of my favorite authors of all time, Ryogo Narita, wrote a series of novels for his series Durarara, and it goes for 13 novels, and they're all amazing. It got adapted into a 64-episode anime. It's awesome. And he finished it, but he still had a couple of ideas that he wanted to get out there. So he creates a sequel series called Durarara Snake Hands, and the idea of it is he wants to see whether or not continuing a story he already finished could enhance the original story, or like dampen the effects of the original story. Because sometimes like I do really feel like I just get pissed off when I see something that makes me like something I already liked less, and that happens to me with Star Wars all the time. I loved Boba Fett back when he was just a cool, mysterious bounty hunting guy, and now I watch the series and it made me completely indifferent on the character. Like, he's so boring in that show that now when I watch the original Star Wars trilogy, like the character seems more boring. That is a case of adding on to a finished story 50 years later and making the original story have less impact. And that's just shitty. I hate that.
One of the big issues that I have with like Star Wars and such is like not only do they add on and ruin the old things, but like they try to push new shit into like the franchise and then make their new shit better than the old shit. So you have issues where it's like Darth Vader was like the iconic villain.
Yeah.
Like if you look at anybody, everybody knew like when you go to like a top 10 list of villains in film history, Darth Vader was going to be near the top because he like George Lucas did everything to make him as intimidating as possible. Big imposing figure, deep voice, black on black on black. Every trope that you could get that formed because of this character was used, and it was very, very effective. And then this isn't even like Disney Wars that did it. You have series like the Star Wars Legends and the Expanded Universe and such that just, in order to make a character seem strong, they have them beat Darth Vader, and it's just like,
oh yeah,
what's the point of the character then? He's supposed to be this unstoppable force,
No,
and then he's getting beaten left, right, and center.
It is incredibly frustrating. Like, it got to the point where people who had kept on adding on to Star Wars kept on using, like, Dragon Ball Z logic, which I do like Dragon Ball Z, but in that show's logic, Toriyama keeps having to introduce characters who could realistically beat the most powerful character before. Frieza is at the top of the power ceiling, so he wrote Cell, who has Frieza's cells and everyone else's cells, so obviously he's more powerful. Then goes to Majin Buu, and, you know, the villains just keep on having to continuously raise the power level, and that is really frustrating when multiple authors are involved, because an author will go into Star Wars and have their character beat the shit out of Darth Vader, and it's like, I don't really think you have that call, dude. Like, we love Darth Vader in part because of the sheer amount of screen presence and energy he brings to the table. So it's incredibly frustrating. I do feel like people should just enjoy what they have. And the fans are partially to blame as well. The fans are definitely partially to blame, because you look at series finales of stuff, it could wrap up the best way it possibly can, and there'll always be a couple hundred fans in the comments like, oh, this was so great, I can't wait to see more of it one day. It's like, what do you mean more of it one day? It ended. You got a great conclusion.
I can't wait for the conclusion to the Bible. Like
the Newer Testament.
Really,
the Newer Testament.
Can't wait for, you know, the sequel series to the fucking the Journey to the West. Really wrap up Sun Wukong's his whole Journey to the West thing. I think that we need to make it like Wester.
Oh my god. And what's even worse is when something has like an open ending where you get to like think about the ending yourself, and there'll be like a thousand morons in the comments like, I can't wait for the sequel so they can finally tell me what happened. It's like, bitch, that's the point. You figure out what happened on your own.
My issue is when series, like, if they do have enough loose ends to determine, like, okay, we can make a good spinoff to fix these issues or plot holes or whatever the fuck, like, that is somewhat fine. Do it in moderation, but every series is doing it now. Like,
it's getting,
no ending is sacred.
It's getting to the point where when I finish something, I don't get that like high of, this is the last time I'm going to see these characters again. And that is part of the high of a series finale, and they're not, like, it's not hitting as hard. One of my, I feel a little scared saying this is one of my favorite shows of all time. I know it's not great, but an anime called Fairy Tail, which gets a lot of shit, because, you know, it's got issues. But it ended after like 356 or something episodes, and I love the ending. But I wasn't able to really feel that, like, great feeling that this is the last time I'm seeing these characters. This is a great ending for everyone's story, because right before it ended, it was announced that there was a sequel series that's going to take place a couple of years later, and that just really dampened my feeling of the show ending.
The Alien franchise is somewhat similar to that.
Oh my god.
I think that's one where, like, it's sort of like the exception to that rule where it's like, oh, well, if it has enough mystery or plot hooks or something, you know, you can make a series and explain them. No.
No, what?
The whole point of the Alien is that you don't know what the fuck it is.
And they have spent
that's what made it so cool.
They have spent 3 movies trying to explain questions that I didn't ask.
The Alien franchise was my favorite sci-fi franchise in history. It was fantastic. You had aliens, and then you got to ignore everything else.
Yeah, like
because
three.
it was a
Three is
complete
trash.
story, and you moved on.
Yes.
I think 3, it's better than a lot of people make it out to be, but
The beginning ruins the entire thing for me.
Yeah, the death of Newt and all that shit, where it just kind of invalidates aliens.
Yes, and invalidating one of people's favorite movies of that decade. That's a perfect. That's a perfect example.
Film, but
that's a perfect example of adding on to something and making me like aliens less.
You had Alien, the perfect start, and Alien is the perfect sequel, and it could just end there with them escaping, beating the queen, and moving on, and then it's just like, boom, ending, good. The colony of these aliens are dead. There's nothing that's an issue. We move on. You don't need this expanded universe from Prometheus and like trying to explain their fucking origin. And I'm just like, I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know.
I simply didn't.
You don't need an origin. Yeah, you don't need an origin for everything. You could just say, oh, there are aliens here. Well, why are they there? They're there.
They're there because I want them to be.
Like that. Yeah, that works in storytelling. You don't need a full explanation of everything. If it can work within the universe, that's fine. But for the purpose of storytelling, especially for this franchise, it didn't need to be done. Ever.
Yeah, and then Alien Covenant came out, and that movie's basically like the cinematic equivalent to shitting yourself on a Six Flags ride.
Imagine there was a The Thing sequel. They just started, like, it takes place on, like...
Bro, no, like, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I saw a comment under a video one time, because The Thing is, like, my 4th favorite movie of all time. I've seen it a billion times. There's a comment under it saying, I hate they never made a sequel, so we can't find out which one of them is The Thing. It's like, bro, it's a perfect ending.
That's the point.
It's a great ending.
Like, it adds to the paranoia. You don't know.
Yes, like, I like, personally...
That's the point.
Yeah, like, I personally think one of them doesn't have breath. One of them isn't, one of them is, like, breathing, and it's not showing their breath on the cold air, so people speculate that that one's the alien. I can't remember whether it's McCready or not, but, yeah, great ending. People are stupid.
It's just absurd to me. The level of, like, oh, we need to answer this question. No. That the artistic integrity of the original creator should always be taken into account. Like,
absolutely.
They ended The Thing at that moment for a reason. The Thing is entirely about, like, paranoia. Yeah. And just, like, making you feel as paranoid as possible. By ending it at that moment without giving you the answer, they keep you in that sort of subsect of the mind for as long as possible. After the movie's over, you've gone home and you still got that creeping feeling.
Yes.
That, oh, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And then if you get like a sequel, I know that it does get a sequel through the video game, but you know, that's not like a movie or anything like that. And I know it's technically canon and all that shit, but you know, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't even answer the question that we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like what?
Like, there's a reason that it's never answered, because it's not meant to be answered.
No, I have never watched The Thing and thought, man, I really want to see where this creature came from. I really want to see its home planet. It is way cooler to just have it be an ununderstandable entity.
Yeah. Like, that is part of the horror. You don't understand it. You don't know if there's a different rule for it. You don't know anything. It's like, imagine if H.P. Lovecraft started explaining the Lovecraftian horror.
Yeah, he's like
the whole point is that it's beyond comprehension.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Justin, you're being a little quiet, man. I thought you were into horror movies and stuff.
I am. I'm just waiting to jump in. I mean, I agree with all you were saying that there shouldn't be a sequel to films that don't really need it, especially The Thing and whatnot. Like, for instance, speaking of The Thing, John Carpenter, the one who directed the remake
Halloween.
of The Thing,
Mm-hmm.
he is not a big fan of sequels. Like, he hates sequels all the way through. I believe he wrote the sequel for Halloween 2, but he didn't want to do it, so he purposely made Michael die at the end of it. But, of course, Hollywood was like, well, Mr. Carpenter, guess what? We're taking your property. We're making a third film.
Your reproductive rights belong to us now, Mr. Carpenter.
But, like, name one film that he's made that has a sequel. Like...
No, like John...
Halloween.
He gets in and cooks and leaves.
Big Trouble in Little China, one film. The
Yeah, it's
Thing,
a good one.
one film. His very underrated masterpiece, The Ghost from Mars, just one film.
You've told me to watch that before, like a couple of different times.
It's fucking
I
amazing.
will add.
Awesome.
I will add a little like apostrophe star little addendum here. There are some classics that like the sequel comes out and it's like, oh my god, this is fucking great. Like just as a
absolutely.
shout out here. I'm assuming you both watched The Shining.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because like if you haven't watched The Shining and you're a horror fan, like keep yourself safe and all that shit. But
it's perfect.
Then a few years back, they released a movie directed by a guy called Mike Flanagan, one of my personal favorite horror directors, called Doctor Sleep, and it's a sequel to The Shining that follows Danny in like his later years and such, and it is so good.
For me, that one's
So fucking good.
For me, that's a little bit different because that is specifically a case of the original author, like who created the story, going back and wanting to create a continuation to it. And I haven't seen Doctor Sleep. I've been told to watch it a million times. My dad said my dad, as someone who has seen The Shining like every October, he's seen it probably like 50 times in his life, and me, I've probably seen it like 5 or 6. I love that movie. He said he loved Doctor Sleep, and he said it felt like a sequel with purpose, and that's what a lot of sequels lack, is purpose.
Doctor Sleep, the movie version, I don't know about the book version, but like you were saying, the original creator obviously continued the story. He had written the book, he had done everything, and basically Mike Flanagan, when they were making Doctor Sleep, he was speaking with the creator of the original book series, Stephen King, and basically looked at him and said, you didn't get the ending to The Shining that you wanted in like the huge Hollywood release version. Instead of giving the Doctor Sleep ending, let's just make the ending to the original Shining and go from there. And basically like can the ending to the book of Doctor Sleep and just give it the ending to The Shining that Stephen King would have preferred. And the ending to Doctor Sleep is so fucking good.
Okay, wait, so just to be clear, the movie does not have the ending that the book does? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the original book of The Shining does not have the ending that the movie does. And then Doctor Sleep follows The Shining's ending, and like Doctor Sleep ends with the ending of The Shining, whereas The Shining ends on like its own thing.
Yeah, I mean, I love Stanley Kubrick, but some of the decisions he makes, because I have read The Shining book, and I do prefer the ending of the original book, and I've just never understood why Stanley Kubrick changes the ending the way that he does. It's a little baffling to me, but still a great movie. Probably the best atmosphere in any horror movie.
Yeah, I can't really think of one that really competes with it, in all honesty. Like,
what about you, Justin?
Maybe The Thing, like that.
Yeah, Thing has really good atmosphere too, I'd say. What about you, Justin? You know any?
I guess it is good for the atmosphere. I'm not gonna lie. Granted, The Shining is not up there my favorite horror films. I do like it a lot.
Not a personal favorite?
There is one horror film though that's my. Well, here's the thing. I do have a personal favorite horror film, but I was gonna save it for my episode next week.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Because I was gonna have a whole topic section dedicated to my favorite director.
Maybe. Yeah, I definitely have some spooky topics ready for October.
If you come in here and say it's Toxic Avenger, I'm bricking you.
Come in here and say
it's
what?
not that at all. But no, Ryan was saying that if it was Toxic Avenger, he's gonna end me.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Well, I do like Toxic Avenger, but it's not that. It's Toxic Avenger is probably like my 10th favorite film. But anyway, Ian, should we not tell Ryan about the transmission we got from space?
Oh shit, dude. Yeah, wait 1 second. Yeah. That is a good.
We went a whole hour and 20 minutes without bringing this up.
We were good. All right. I say go ahead and show him. I think it's monumental, not just for the podcast, but for mankind.
For the whole world. Okay, here we go. So Ryan, we got a transmission. I was notified from NASA that an alien tried to contact us. Right? He asked for us specifically. All right, and he asked for us to take his message and put it through a text-to-speech bot. This text-to-speech bot, and he requested it be Scottish accent. And,
I don't know why.
So out of principle, I went ahead and made a whole
two
video.
aliens. So.
Yeah. So with so on my own terms, I went ahead and I just made him a little video. So I put this together, and I'm going to send this to you, and we're going to watch this together.
All right. Let's see this shit.
Let's all start from 00.
59 seconds.
It was a very short transmission, but it's got a lot packed into it.
All right. Count us in.
Everybody at 00?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. 1, 2, 3.
Attention all Earthlings, my name is Bleeble Bobbins. I come from the Yomata star system with one goal. I wish to become the domestic leader of the United States of America. My people have witnessed how you all have voted terrible men in power for hundreds of years. And for what? Just
Woodrow
to have
Wilson,
another
thank you.
leader in office with a stick up his ass. I don't think so. America, what you need is a president that will lead your country into the future. A president that can provide affordable health care, free coupons to TGI Fridays and all the shower water you can drink. A president that will totally not feed you to the space kraken in about 20 years. But most importantly, a president with a set of balls. You don't need Grandpa Joe running in office, and you don't need another fat, sweaty Republican with questionable morals. America, vote for Bleeble Bobbins in 2024. Vote a president worth voting for.
Thank you for that.
Hey, let's get a round of applause, boys.
He's got my vote. He's got my
vote too.
I'm a bit worried about the whole space kraken thing, but we shouldn't look into that.
That was
too
a
deep.
mistranslation.
It's
That was a
messaging.
that was a mistranslation.
He said no. He said not to worry about it. So why are we worried about it?
Like, I don't understand why you would even bring it up.
He said
Like,
he wasn't going to do it.
He said, "Don't worry about it."
I mean, you don't know. Like, it's possible that other presidents are going to do the same thing. Other presidents may feed to the space kraken, but he's not going to. All right.
That's the thing. Like, as far as I'm
Honestly, that no other president has, no other candidate for the presidency has promised us not to feed us to the space kraken.
see,
Exactly.
So far, he's the only one that's actually made that commitment.
Absolutely. I'm glad he got in under that.
And listen, this gentleman, like, I'm telling you right now, the fact that he's going to provide us with affordable health care, free coupons to TGI Fridays, and all the shower water we can drink, it's perfect, okay? I'm voting for him.
I like the implication that he thinks I don't already drink vast amounts of shower water.
We're just going to move on.
Do you use that to wash down your fucking Play-Doh?
All right, buddy. All right, we're gonna move on. That was a reference I didn't appreciate. All right, I have never, just in case anyone's listening to this, I have never eaten Play-Doh. That was all a joke. It was all a little bit of a funny little joke.
He's like pushing the fucking canister of Play-Doh away from his desk at the moment, getting out of camera view.
Regardless, I don't eat Play-Doh. Any ladies out there, interested in me, if you want me to eat Play-Doh, I will. However, I don't do it currently.
If you want Ian to eat Play-Doh, we will record him eating it.
Donate at the $120 tier, and I will eat a shit ton of Play-Doh, dude. I will.
I don't think you want to make that commitment.
No,
because $120 isn't enough for poison control.
Allow me to. Okay, all right. I really do need to be careful, because imagine I go to court and I'm liable. It's like, son, you gotta eat a shit ton of Play-Doh or else you're going to prison.
All right, can you define a shit ton for me? Because we're like somewhere between like someone taking a dump in a turdy or a literal ton of Play-Doh. And personally, I want to see this.
Listen here. So a shit ton is equivalent to an ass load. All right.
They bring out like a chart with the conversion like metrics on it.
All right, so right here we have a shit ton, which is slightly more than an ass load, but that's a little bit more than a piss stomp.
So the conclusion is, you're kind of dumb, son. You're not the smartest, are you? Made a little bit of a mistake here.
I don't know why you would come to that conclusion.
All right, next topic.
Stop.
The next topic we've got. The next topic.
Yellow is my favorite flavor.
Did you just say yellow? Okay. Everyone vote in Bleeble Bobbins for president 2024. He will make America again, and I'm really looking forward to that. Let me play his theme song right quick. Yeah. All right. Next on
We've ruined his campaign.
No, I just literally just added so much to his campaign. Like first of all, exposure. Like the exposure of the 13 views this is gonna get is going to get him in office.
By the way, I forgot to mention in his thing, in his little video, that he specifically asked that his assistant president, his vice president, be Ben Dover.
Bringing him back from the dead. Huh?
So
You should put that in the ad. I'm not taking your word for it personally.
So
Word of mouth
Ben
is not
Dover,
very
if you're
good when it comes
listening,
to politics.
he wants to be your running mate.
I'm actually getting a
Would it be reverse?
getting a text here. He says he doesn't want to be a part of our degenerate plans. That is unfortunate.
Ah, okay, understood.
All right, but
You should have picked a different podcast then, because he's gonna be here forever now.
yeah, but regardless of all of that,
That's the curse of this fucking chair.
next month, how would you guys feel about bringing old Bleeble on for a little segment on space politics?
Fuck
That'd be
it.
kind of amazing.
Bring him on, I guess.
All right, I'm down. Only a couple more topics here, boys. Let me move on. Real quick, I want to talk about leaker culture. The general idea in many spheres, but it's probably most prevalent in the video game sphere. And that is people who have hacking information, inside information, family members who work for the people, and they just have information that they leak to the public about things. And I'm not here to get into the moral ramifications of it, of whether they should or should not do it, because let's be honest, they're stealing from multi-billion-dollar companies. Who gives a shit? What I am here to talk about, and what does annoy me, is that I have slowly gotten out of it over the years, because it is a vicious cycle of disappointment. And this is what happened. Around a week ago, I follow a channel that talks about video game news, and they talked about how a reputable leaker who basically said all of the different stuff that was going to be in the Nintendo Direct back in around March, he got it all right. So the leaker came back again last week and said that in the Nintendo Direct that came out this morning, that I haven't watched yet, it was going to announce a new Donkey Kong Country game. And I flipped my shit in the middle of work. It was like straight out of a musical. I was walking up to random strangers, kissing them on the mouth, dude. I was like, bro, Donkey Kong Country is back. I need this shitty job anymore. And I left. I quit, all right? Quit my job. Because Donkey Kong Country was coming out. I didn't need anything else. Burned all my bridges. Turns out 2 days later, a guy says he got some wrong information. And turns out it's not Donkey Kong Country. It is Donkey Kong versus Mario, which is basically a glorified minigame franchise. And I went into a deep depression. So deep that I considered leaving this podcast altogether. I was very sad. Obviously, I'm being dramatic. I didn't really quit my job and shit. But it really did suck. I got news that I was getting a game. I couldn't wait for a new Donkey Kong Country game. First one in 8 years. And turns out that he just got the information wrong. And it's not worth it. I really don't. Would you guys say that you think that leaker culture is worth it? You can maybe get some correct information early, but the depression of having it be false is almost it just pisses me off too much to continue trying to validate possibly false information.
When it comes to leaker culture, there's certain things that I think are good to leak out, rumors. We were talking last week about the $150 potential price point for Grand Theft Auto 6. That's a good thing to leak out. But just random titles and such, stuff changes in development so quickly that it's just not worth talking about, really.
Yeah, I agree. And there's channels that cover daily news like that, and I've kind of just unsubscribed to some because I just can't keep going through that cycle. I would rather just get confirmation. The Attack on Titan final episode release date is on November 4th, and it got leaked by someone a couple of days before, and I just didn't pay attention to it. It got leaked on November 2nd and said it was it got leaked 2 days ago and said that it was going to be coming out November 4th, and I just didn't pay attention to it. It ended up being true, but it would have sucked if it was like, yeah, that wasn't true. It's coming out on next January.
Not only that, but like the excitement of getting like just a raw drop, like
Yes.
is absurd. Like the Smash community, for however fucked up they are, whenever the Smash Ultimate trailer first dropped, because nobody knew it was going to come out, like people had suspicions, like of course Nintendo's going to make a Smash for this new console, but like the extent of what the fuck they were doing every single time they did a drop for that, like whether it be a new character or whatever the hell it was, like people got so excited. Dude, I don't even play Smash Brothers. Whenever they revealed Banjo-Kazooie, I got hyped.
Dude, yeah, like I remember when that original trailer dropped in the Nintendo Direct, like back in 2017, and it said everyone is here, every fighter from across the entire franchise, and it was an incredible feeling that would have been dampened if some random asshole in his basement who's combing through thousands of files figured out, oh, it looks here like they're gonna announce the new Smash Brothers. It's like, bro, I don't give a shit. Just wait and let me see it from the actual company.
Yeah, like not only that, but like it kind of has like an adverse effect to hype as well. Of like leaks are always going to talk about the most extreme things they heard because that's what gets the clicks, right?
Yes.
Like you can't really get ahead just like, yeah, they're making like Rockstar's making a new Grand Theft Auto. Do with that as you will. And like, yeah, they're going to make a new Grand Theft Auto. Who the fuck would have guessed? And then it's just like you can't get by with that, so you got to go a little bit more. Oh well, new Grand Theft Auto footage leaked, and it's like pre-alpha playtesting footage, and it's just like everybody's making fun of it, saying how terrible the project is and all this shit, and it's just like, dude, like, do you have any idea what game development is like? That's so early in the fucking thing that like not even details on anything have really been decided yet. They haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Why are you judging the product?
Yeah, like not to mention like Grand Theft Auto 5. Everyone's still incredibly hyped for it, but there's a certain small subset of the community that is now like, oh, it's not going to be good. It looks so bad. It's like, bro, it was illegally stolen from the creators and leaked in an unfinished state. Could you chill out?
I get the point of some leaks. Like, they are necessary to have at times where, like, oh, this company is doing this, which is going to be, like, a violation of, like, core customer rights or something like that. Which, like, if somebody is doing, like, a predatory thing and you're a leaker, you know, release it. It's worth talking about that they're considering doing something that is anti-consumer.
Yeah, sure.
But if you're just, like, talking about some bullshit, who the fuck cares?
Well, they're doing it for online
Let me be hyped.
Yeah, they're doing it for online clout.
Yeah, I know why they're doing it. But, like, if I have the choice of, like, tomorrow waking up to news about, like, oh, by the way, Tears of the Kingdom getting, like, a massive fucking DLC that's gonna change a shit ton of things, make it really good, that'd be hype as fuck. But if I wake up to that news and it's, like, some random fucking guy online talking about it, and 6 months later they do the announcement, and it's like, yeah, we knew about that. Give us something new.
And then we're blaming the company for giving us old news when they really didn't. They just, it sucks. I can't stand it. I do agree that some leaks are necessary as long as it's something that the company doesn't have an incentive to tell us. But if they do at some point, then there's no point in telling me a month early. You're just, like, taking the wind out of my sails. So, and anything to add on that? Anything to add on that, Justin?
No, I think you guys pretty much spoke for me.
There's some neckbeard out there right now they're like, leave alone the multi-billion-dollar company. You can't sit here and fucking, like, talk shit about my leaker and defend Nintendo. Nintendo is so anti-consumer. You can't do that.
Bro, or there's just a leaker out there who looks like the guy from that World of Warcraft episode of South Park. And he's like, but you guys really don't want to know about the you guys don't want to know about the leak I have for Starfield 2? I've got it on my laptop right now. I'll send it to the world. I don't give a shit.
Please, just a crumb of pussy. Please. I'll leak Pikmin 5.
I want one crumb. That was some degenerate shit, Ryan. Bro. Oh my god.
I just want everyone to know at home that, you know, when I had this idea with everyone to start this podcast, I was hoping for funny jokes, you know, it's something for everyone to get involved with. Now we've made fun of 9/11. We've not done this shit.
We disgraced the memory of Stephen Harwell, lead singer for the famous band Smash Mouth.
Like, I don't know where
We're not even bringing up the fact of, like, the Anne Frank thing from last week, or are we just ignoring that? Because I'm down to ignore it if you guys are.
I'm voting.
I'm trying to ignore it, but then again, you brought it up.
Just like anybody who questions what happened to Anne Frank back then, they don't have to...
Stop.
They don't have to be on record.
Stop it there. Stop.
Give a little... All right, buddy. Let's see. I would very much like for... Imagine there's just like two versions of the podcast. There's like the version we upload that's 2 hours, and then we upload the real cut, and it's like 8.5 hours.
No, we gaslight people into stuff that doesn't exist. We go full-blown Stalin. Like, somebody points out a clip, we just edit out, and not even reload, just like convince people en masse that clip never existed. Like, if there's ever, like, some guy on the podcast, like, in 3 years, if, like, Ian does some shit that the rest of us don't agree with, we just edit him out of all content and just have dead spots in all the podcasts.
I knew. No, wait. You just replace me with, good old Bleeble.
What the fuck?
It's the text-to-speech from that thing.
What the fuck? If you leave all dead space, imagine all of Ian's episodes where, like, the podcast starts and you hear nothing except you hear whenever I speak or Ryan speaks. Like, yeah, how you doing? Nice seeing you, Ian. Dead space.
No, just imagine like a complete dead space for like 3 minutes, and then Ian, knock off the harmonica, dude. Like, what are you doing? Dude, that would be amazing.
I like the idea that now just like cut people off in the future and just re-upload the whole video with them cut out. It's just,
no, bro, imagine
dead silence for 5 minutes.
You do have him. You remember he does have the separate audio files, so he can technically do that.
No, dude, imagine Ryan gets canceled and we cut him out, so it's just dead silence, and then whoa, you can't say that here, buddy.
There'll be a whole fucking Reddit thread like, what happened on that episode?
What the hell was said? I think I know why he's. I think I know why he's in jail now.
Why the fuck did this host go to Guantanamo Bay? And then, like, the cut audio file reveals that I, like, revealed the entire Epstein client list or some shit live on air, and they just took me out.
Dude, imagine the United States government having to go through all of this bullshit just to find the one relevant piece of information. It's just like an actual, like, really, like they have to go through the whole thing. It's like, all right, Vaporeon, all right, Anne Frank, and okay, Epstein, all right.
Start listing off shit like Biden connections to, like, Ukraine or some shit. 1 second, I gotta go real quick.
Wait, what? Oh, no, it was part of the joke, my bad. I was like, Ryan, where are you going?
He had you fucking convinced.
Bro, you got me, you gaslighted me in real time.
Got that shit in 4K.
Bro, holy shit. Okay. A lot of really good stuff here. I think I only have one more topic. I can get through this one pretty quickly, and that is companies that make announcements too damn early in the development cycle. A lot of times, this comes from delays, but it has become increasingly frustrating. Metroid Prime 4. I am fine with them taking literally as much time as they need on Metroid Prime 4. Whenever anyone in the comment section is like, oh, they need to really hurry up on this, I defend the developers. I don't really defend the fact that they announced it in 2016.
It's been that long?
I've
been waiting that long?
Yes, dude, it is. It is honestly 2016 or 2017. It is really frustrating, and I was reminded of it. I actually added that to the docket when you mentioned Silk Song. They would not be in the predicament they are now if they would have just announced Silk Song last year. They'd be fine, but they announced it like 3 years ago.
When it comes to like the Metroid Prime shit, it was so like Metroid is one of my favorite franchises of all time. So that we got Metroid Dread. It was like, oh, thank God, finally, new Metroid. And then they announced, Metroid Prime 4, and it's like, my heart grows 3 sizes that day, and then I have a fucking heart attack because it's been 7 years.
Dude, it's
and I can't do it anymore.
Like, I
can't do it anymore, man. I've been waiting here for 7 years.
Dude, like, there's just a cult of...
Why did she leave?
My girlfriend left me because I was waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 for too long. Bro, like Elder Scrolls 6, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Metroid Prime 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. I want you, the developers of these games, you could make the best games in the world. I want you to take as long as you need. You could release it in 2030, but don't announce it until 2029.
You know GTA 5's already out, right?
I said GTA 6.
You said 5.
I said 6.
No, he said 6.
No, you said 5.
I said 6.
You said 5, good sir.
No, he said GTA 6.
I would like to say...
You need schizophrenic pills, dude?
No, stop. No, I would like to say
No, that was my failed attempt at gaslighting. I'm sorry.
No. The quickness with which Ryan, the comfortableness with which Ryan gaslit you shows me a lot about your friendship's past. That was really quick on his part.
It works too instantly.
No, like I was like making a little joke, and then you were like, yeah, he said 5. It was so immediate.
So what, you did say 5?
I said 6.
Listen, I can't trust.
He's gonna go.
Listen, I can't trust both of you, okay? Because I told Ryan this earlier. I told Ryan behind the scenes that fucking when you guys tricked me during that fucking that historic trivia, like I knew deep in my mind you guys were fucking with me, but I legit had like a post-it note like conspiracy theory timeline going on, trying to figure out like was that really real or what the fuck happened.
You look like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia looking for Pepe Sylvia, just like a whole like huge like thing on your wall. Like, okay, at 9:45 they asked me who the Archduke of Ferdinand was. Okay, but at this point he asked Ian what Play-Doh tastes like. That's clearly an easier question.
No, legit. Like the one thing that popped up was like Ryan had said something like, "Oh, I'll just swap Justin's questions with Ian's questions." And then later on, he's like, "Listen, man, I just pulled a question out of a hat." I'm like, "Then how did he do that?"
You don't own a hat, Ryan. You don't own a hat. I've been to your house.
Show me the fucking hat.
Show me that. Yo, release the hat cut. Release the hat. Release the hat. Ryan, what do you have to say for yourself?
This is no Hatgate, motherfucker.
1 second. Just need to take a picture of this hat.
Let me take a picture of this hat.
Just need to make sure that the world is corrected.
We just hear him start his car and drive away to like Hobby Lobby to buy a hat.
No, he just is a dick pic.
Classic Ryan.
Need to really need to set the stage for the hat.
It's just him flipping us off.
Saving.
It's just a piece of paper says for you fucking idiots. What the
There's
fuck?
the hat pic.
Oh, well, hey, wait, did you send the thing?
He did.
Wait, no, let me go to Discord.
I was gonna show that on YouTube so people can look at it, but I can't show it with that in it.
What? Wait, bro, what am I missing?
You absolutely
What am
can't.
He's like,
do you see it now?
he's like baiting you, like, all right, Justin, who's the one who really got played here? Oh my god.
For anyone listening to the audio podcast, Ryan just sent us a photograph with a hat on the floor, with a handgun next to it and a knife next to that.
Essentially, he's telling us that there's a certain ratio of fucking around before we inevitably find out. All right, this has been going on for a while, boys. We're around. I got through all my topics. Do we have anything else to bring to the table upon this fine day?
I do have.
Probably the Unity news.
Well, but I do have a little announcement to make real quick for the podcast listeners and whatnot. So if you have a friend that is totally biased against Spotify and or YouTube and refuses to listen to this because of those two platforms, tell him he can shut the fuck up because now we're on Apple Podcasts and we're on iHeartRadio, which I just found out the other day still exists. And one more.
We're gonna hit a huge market for like the 3 iHeartRadio users that are still out there.
I know, right? And anyway, one more thing to add. If you enjoyed the show, if you go into the description of this video, or if you go into the show description on any streaming service you're on, there'll be a link that will take you to a page that you can set up a monthly donation to support the show.
Yeah, even a dollar would help, so we can really start improving things around here, around the home office.
Step number 1 to improve this podcast is I want to record this in person so the internet does not fuck shit up.
Yeah, good luck with that shit.
Justin, I'm tuning my guitar. Like, cut this out of the final cut. Continue talking.
Nah, I'm leaving it in.
Maybe don't. Maybe it would be so easy. You cut my beautiful ukulele solos on the first episode that no one will ever know about because you're a. You know what?
Just waiting for him to
be
get
accurate.
done with his guitar.
All right. I'm done. Okay, next week I assume Justin will be hosting.
Yeah.
But like I said, I wanted to cover just a quick topic on the Unity decision that was fucking awful. Have you heard about that, Ian? Because me and Justin talked about it a little bit. Have you heard about it?
A little bit. I think you sent me that article.
I sent you a fake screenshot of Hollow Knight's Silk Song getting delayed because they were having to switch to Unity, switch off of Unity. But Unity is basically, they changed the way that their corporate system works. We're talking about corporate greed and such. This is about as obvious as it gets. They are going to charge developers per install fees. Like, if somebody downloads the game and it's using Unity Engine, you now owe us 20 cents. It does not matter what the price of the game is. Every time somebody downloads that shit, it doesn't matter if it's like someone uninstalling and reinstalling it, that's 20 cents.
Why? Dude, why do these companies keep on getting away with, like, things that regular people clearly see as just blatantly illegal shit? That is awful.
So yeah, there is an absurd amount of developers out there right now, like, shitting themselves because they've already released Unity games and are probably going to have to, like, pull them down off of the internet, because if somebody downloads them from this point on, it's 20 cents per download, and some of them are just out there for free. Like, one dude who's a Unity developer said that under the current Unity guidelines, even though he released every single game he made for free, he would owe Unity a total of $5.6 million.
Holy shit.
Bro.
Yeah, after making zero money. I'd have to find exactly who it was. We can probably link that shit down below if I find it. If not, I just went to go turn my air conditioner on and forgot about it and didn't care after that point. But yeah. So Unity price structure. If you're the CEO of Unity and you're listening to this, what I want you to do is just go to your kitchen and
I mean, it's corporate BS run amok. I don't like it. I do feel like that sounds like a proper plan, right? All right, boys. Was that everything?
Yeah.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Hold your horses there, Mr.
I want to turn on my air conditioner!
Not just yet, boyo. Let me play it.
It is 90 degrees.
Let me play us out. All right, it's my show, and I want to play us out. All right.
Do it quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming to the show. I like Play-Doh. All right, everybody have a good night.